Here we are at Khirbet Qeiyafa. This is the last season digging here. I'm going to give a brief overview for those who have not heard about Qeiyafa before, or for those who are just a little bit rusty. I'm standing just below the city wall. You can see it right there. Those are not the original stones from the time of David. The city was constructed roughly 3,000 years ago in the time of King Saul or David in the Bible. If I went up some more, you'd be able to see some of the large, massive stones at the bottom of the wall that make up the Iron Age level. But that's, you can see our shed up there and some of the porta potties, but the work areas are mostly up there. I'm working down here and off a little bit. There's a tower there which dates to the time of Josiah. We're finding pottery specific to the time of King Josiah, which is about 300 years later. Actually more than that, 350 maybe years later than Khirbet Qeiyafa. But this is a very important spot because out here in front of Qeiyafa we see this nice valley with some fields and road down there. And Qeiyafa is right up here, but out here is where David and Goliath fought in the Bible. And we know that because the Bible gives us a lot of geographical detail in 1 Samuel chapter 17. It says the Philistines came and encamped at Socoh. That greenish yellowish hill across the valley with almost no trees on it, that is, or was, the city of Socoh, a city of Judah. That was one of the border cities. This, in fact, was the border between Judah and the Philistines. But there's Socoh, and it says they encamped between Socoh and Azekah. Well, where is Azekah? There's Socoh. Where's Azekah? Just come this way a little bit, and there it is. So there is Azekah. The other side of Azekah, that hill there, the other side is Philistine territory, or at least used to be Philistine territory. If you go on top of that hill, you can see the city of Gath, or Gath, as some pronounce it, Goliath's hometown, just a few miles on the other side. Easy to see. But between that city and that city is where the battle took place, which puts us right here in the valley. And so this is the valley. The Philistines are on the Socoh side, which would be those hills over there, and Saul and his army were encamped on this side, on the hill, possibly on the very hill that we're on here. And maybe on these slopes is where the Israelite army waited, just right around here. But we can imagine down there, Goliath coming out, making his challenge. And if we look in the distance, we can maybe see on the highway a bridge down there. If you can see that, that is crossing over the brook that runs through the valley. And that brook, if you can make out the tree line down there on the edge of the fields, that's the line of the brook, just inside the tree line. And so David, being on this side, would cross down there, would go down there, cross the brook, get 5 smooth stones, and go out to wherever Goliath would have been. It could have bing over there, it could have been in front of here. We don't know exactly the spot, of course. But still, that's a pretty good zeroing in of the location. And that's where it all happened. The city of Khirbet Qeiyafa is on the border here, the ancient border, and it appears to have been a military fort of some kind. Not terribly big, not terribly fancy. Only existed for 2 or 3 decades maybe, at the most, we think, before it was destroyed violently. The best guess is probably in a war with the Philistines. David fought 2 that we know of in the Bible. One earlier in his reign, one later in his reign. It's possible that one of those wars involved the Philistines coming up here and possibly destroying the city up here. After it was destroyed, it was never rebuilt. The Israelites, though, eventually, we know at some point they went up to Azekah and built a city there, which is a little further on the edge of the border. And with one right there, why do you need another one over here? And so there you go. They're doing excavations at Azekah right now to learn more about when it was built and its history. So maybe in a few years we'll have some more details on that. But this is some of the reason why Khirbet Qeiyafa, the site here, is important. There are other reasons too, but that's for another time. Thank you for watching, and I hope you can come here someday too if you have not yet been.